Hey Falcons, it's Mrs. DeShields. This week we're going to continue to work on narrative writing. You got a good start on that last week, writing your stories, and we're going to continue that this week. So at the beginning of the week, I want to go over the anchor charts that you have been provided, just to help you know how to access those as you're getting started. We'll talk later in the week about how we can revise and edit your work, but we're going to just start by going over those anchor charts that you had a look at last week, and so hopefully we'll just give you a little bit deeper understanding. So the first one just kind of gives you some information about what a personal narrative is. The difference with the personal narrative and the opinion writing that we've done and the informative writing that we've done is that this is going to be a story. Okay, the other ones you're providing information and you're providing an opinion or you're telling about that information. A narrative is going to be a story. You're narrating a story. So you are going to focus on a slice of life. So you're not going to tell the story of everything. Okay, you're not going to be able to include all of that, but you're going to focus on an event or a series of events that happened in a setting, in a time period, and you're going to focus on that. You're going to talk about that. Critical to that is you need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. One area that third graders often have is they'll have a beginning, they'll work into a middle, and then their story just kind of poofs and stops. Okay, so we want to make sure that we find an ending to that story. If there's a problem, then there's a solution. Okay, if there's a series of events that happened, we have the beginning, the middle, and the end. We have what concluded it, what happened at the end of the story. Okay, you want to use very descriptive language. Okay, if you don't have pictures to go with your story, then you want to help people come up with those pictures in their minds. So you want to describe things. You want to describe the people. You want to describe the places, and you want to describe the things that you're talking about. How do they smell and taste and sound and feel and look? You want to use all of those different adjectives and adverbs to be able to make your story more interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the week when we talk about doing our revising. Tell about how you feel. If it's personal, you want to talk about your feelings. Okay, if you're writing a narrative from someone else's perspective, you want to talk about the feelings of that character. And then you want to make sure that you use dialogue. Okay, Ms. Cha is going to be talking to you this week about where those commas are going to go in your dialogue, and we've worked on that in class as well. So remember, dialogue is when people are talking in a story and you're going to be using quotation marks. The quotation marks go around the direct words that the people are saying. Okay, so in a narrative, in a story, you want to make sure that you include dialogue between the characters. Now, we also provided you with a list of transition words. Do you have to include all of these? Absolutely not. Please don't. It will mess with the flow of your story. But you want to use some of these types of transition words to make your story sound more professional, to make it not sound exactly the same and follow the same patterns in everything that you're saying. So you're going to use this to help you, again, when we go back into that revision time, use these to help you change up the flow of your story. This last one didn't quite make it into our materials, or not into all of the materials. But what these are some phrases to help you get started in the different parts of your story, the beginning and the middle and the end. Again, do you want to use all of these? Absolutely not. But what you want to do is you want to find things like this or use some of these to help move your story along and sound different as you go. So those are your anchor charts that you'll have as you get started on your writing this week. I will come back in later in the week and we're going to talk a little bit about editing and revising once you have that rough draft in place. So use your tools, use your materials, reach out to your teachers if you have any questions. Look forward to seeing you soon.